Hello everyone, I'm Sir JC and you are watching Literature Unfolded. For today's video, we are about to discuss the American regime in the Philippine literature. The American regime in the Philippines began following the historic Spanish-American War. Ang American regime sa Pilipinas ay tumagal mula 1898 hanggang 1946. Through a series of uprisings and battles, Filipino revolutionists challenged Spanish rule and sought independence. The struggle, marked by the significant events like the 1896 Revolution and the Declaration of Independence in 1898, eventually led to the end of Spanish colonial control. The Filipino revolutionists won against the Spaniards who colonized the country for more than 300 years. Ang tagumpay na ito ay isang mahalagang sandali sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas na nagbukas ng daan para sa pagbuo ng isang bagong panahon ng pambansang kasarinlan. On June 12, 1898, the Philippine flag brought from Hong Kong was unfurled for the first time at the historic window of the Aguinaldo Mansion in Kawit, Cavite. This historical event symbolized the declaration of our independence. Nang idineklara ng mga Pilipino ang kanilang kalayaan mula sa Espanya noong June 12, 1898, sa ilalim ng pamumuno ni Emilio Aguinaldo, siya din ay idineklara bilang Pangulo ng Unang Republika ng Pilipinas. Ang kanyang pamumuno ay ipinahayag sa pamamagitan ng Malolos Constitution, ang unang konstitusyon ng ating bansa. Gayunpaman, ang kanyang panunungkulan bilang Pangulo ay hindi tumagal dahil sa pagsakop ng mga Amerikano sa Pilipinas na nagresulta sa digmaang Pilipino at Amerikano. With that, the United States Army claimed possession of the Philippines after defeating the Spain in the Spanish-American War in 1898. Following the said war, the Treaty of Paris was signed, wherein the negotiation required the United States to pay $20 million to Spain. Then, the U.S. Army will be granted possession of Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. Sa kabila ng paunang tagumpay, ang paglipat ng kontrol ay humantong sa digmaang Pilipino at Amerikano, kung saan ang mga Pilipinong revolusyonaryo na pinamumunuan ni Emilio Aguinaldo ay nagpatuloy sa kanilang pakikibaka para sa kalayaan. Sa huli, itinatag ng United States ang kanilang kolonyal na pamahalaan sa Pilipinas. The American colonial government established a public education system, introducing English as the medium of instruction and promoting the widespread literacy. This laid the foundation for modern educational institutions and systems in the country. Public education for all children of school age ang naging malaking impluwensya ng Amerika sa ating bansa. Ang mga Thomasites ay ang mga guro na ipinadala mula sa Estados Unidos patungo sa Pilipinas noong 1901 sa ilalim ng pamahalaan ng American colonialism. Thomasites are the teachers who arrived in the first few years of the American colonial period in the Philippines. Ang kanilang pangunahing layunin ay magturo sa mga Pilipino, partikular sa mga kabataan, ng wikang Ingles at mga modernong pamamaraan ng edukasyon. Ang pangalan nilang Thomasites ay nagmula sa barkong USS Thomas na nagdala sa kanila sa Pilipinas. Ang public education ng American colonialism ay nagbigay ng malaking kontribusyon at nagkaroon ng malaking epekto sa pagbuo ng sistemang pang-edukasyon sa ating bansa at pagpapalaganap ng wikang Ingles bilang pangunahing wika ng pagtuturo. Hanggang sa ngayon, most of the subjects in schools utilize English as the medium of instruction. During American colonialism, many Filipinos began writing again compared to the Spanish colonial period because of the increase of freedom of expression and the introduction of the new educational opportunities. The American regime promoted a more liberal and open environment for intellectual and artistic endeavors, including the use of medium of expression or language. Filipino writers started writing again in English, Tagalog, Spanish, and vernaculars or dialects. The establishment of a public education system also encouraged literacy and provided access to new ideas and forms of writing. With that, Filipino writers started writing news reports, poetry, short stories, novels, essays, plays, and dramas. During American colonial period, Filipino writers can depict topics such as love of country, longing for independence, nationalism, and the condition of the country. In contrast, the Spanish colonial period was marked by strict censorship and limited opportunities for Filipinos to express their thoughts and critique the government. The development of English literature in the Philippines is not an easy journey for the Filipino writers. We can understand it using these three key phases: reorientation phase, imitation phase, and self-discovery and growth phase. These phases reflect the evolution of literary expression and identity under the different influences of American colonialism. Reorientation phase. The American colonial period introduced English as the medium of instruction in schools, replacing Spanish. This period marked a significant shift in literary expression as writers began to explore writing in English rather than in Spanish or native languages. Imitation phase. During this period, Filipino writers largely imitated the Western literary forms and genres, such as the short stories, novels, and poetry, reflecting the influence of American literature, often drawing inspiration from the Western literary models but adapting them to fit Filipino themes and contexts. Self-discovery and growth phase. Filipino writers in this phase sought to develop a distinctive Filipino literary voice and identity, moving beyond mere imitation of the Western styles to create works that reflected Filipino experiences, culture, and social issues. Filipino writers critically engaged with both American and Filipino cultural influences, exploring themes of national identity, post-colonialism, and socio-political issues. Here are some examples of English literary pieces. Dead Stars is a short story by Paz Marquez Benitez, first published in 1925. It is considered one of the seminal works in Philippine English literature. The narrative centers on Alfredo Salazar, a man engaged to Esperanza, but who is in love with another woman named Julia Salas. Despite Alfredo's feelings for Julia, he remains with Esperanza due to societal expectations and personal convenience. As time passes, Alfredo reflects on his past and realizes that his romantic ideals were merely illusions, much like dead stars whose light no longer reaches the earth. Footnote to Youth. It is a short story by Jose Garcia Villa, a prominent Filipino writer. In the narrative, Dodong, a young and idealistic man, marries at a young age, driven by romantic notions of love and family. However, as he grows older, he faces the harsh realities of adult life, including the struggles of providing for a family and dealing with burdens of his responsibilities. Walang Sugat is a classic Filipino play written by Severino Reyes, who is also known for his contributions to the Philippine literature and theater. The title translates to No Wounds in English. The play is a drama that combines elements of romance and social commentary. The story is set during the Philippine Revolution against the Spanish colonial rule. Tanikalang Ginto explores themes of social class and the struggle for personal and social liberation. The plot revolves around the challenges faced by the characters as they confront the constraints imposed by their social status and seek to break free from them. The title itself metaphorically represents the chains of societal expectations and class limitations that bind the characters. Banaag at Sikat follows the lives of its main characters who grapple with the realities of their social conditions and personal aspirations. It highlights the class struggles and the quest for the better society, emphasizing the themes of social reform and the pursuit of equality. Ang Panday is a poem which anchors the theme of transforming a simple tool into a weapon of resistance and freedom in times of oppression and conflict. The evident symbol used by the author is the panday and his process of transforming the iron into an implement and eventually a weapon. And that's it for today's video about the American regime in the Philippine literature. I hope you learned a lot. See you in our next video.